Hey guys, this is Ash and you're watching Bardic Ash. Happy New Year and welcome back to my channel after a really long time. I did film a quick little December 2022 wrap up on my channel earlier this year. And now I want to do a more 2023 recap. And I want to do a little Bookish Awards for some of the books I read in 2023 because I never talked about any of them on this channel because I was a really bad reader in 2023. I read 30 books, which is kind of less for me, but it was still an amazing year. It was one of the best years of my life and I learned so much, experienced so much. It was great. I want to start with a little life update. I moved from Pennsylvania to Georgia for a PhD program and it has been crazy. Last I mentioned this, I was just finishing up applications, which was already stressful enough, and then 2023 hit and I got hit by interviews and finishing up my thesis and finishing up my master's degree and starting a new program and getting used to a PhD program, moving, family, and everything in between. And the biggest time suck of them all, Taylor Swift. I became so obsessed with Taylor Swift in 2023. I learned how to make clothes. Not like actually make clothes, but like customize things I bought. And I tried to recreate things from her different eras. I still am obsessed with Taylor Swift, as you can see with my little snow globe collection there and little knickknacks on my bookshelf. And that obvious era store popcorn bucket. But I can finally read again, which has been great. I am balancing it all out now. That I got to go see her in concert, which was probably one of the best nights of my entire life. And then I graduated the week after I saw her, which was also great, but nothing compared to seeing Taylor Swift. But 2023 was honestly one of the best years of my life for many different reasons. And I am so excited to see what 2024 brings for me. It just already bought me so many books. So can't really see it going down. Oh, why the frick would I do that to myself? Knock on wood. I hope 2024 doesn't go downhill. But without further ado, let's start with the Bookish Awards so we can talk about some books on this channel. In 2023, I read 30 books, like I mentioned, and some of them were amazing and some of them were not. And tonight we will have 13 awards to honor these books. And I had to go with 13 because in 2023, Taylor Swift was my hyperfixation. So 13 was my hyperfixation. The first award of the night is Trope of the Year. There are so many amazing tropes in contemporary romances which ruled my year. And I read everything from friends to lovers to enemies to lovers. But what stood out and wins the award tonight is second chance romances. This year, I found myself coming back to second chance romances one after another. And they were just absolutely heartwarming. I loved seeing a couple kind of figure out their relationship and fix things that are wrong in it and just work through it together, because nothing says they're more on each other's team than a good second chance romance. But I refuse to ever read one with cheating in it. If I see the word cheating in the context of the couple, I'm walking away. That being said, the next category of the night is Genre of the Year. And in the past, this award has gone to epics like fantasy, sci-fi even for 1 year in my past, mystery. But this year, like you've probably guessed, the award goes to contemporary romances. The next category is Ship of the Year. And in line with the past amazing ships of Aelin and Rowan, Farah and Rhys, Bryce and Hunt, and so many other non-Sarah J. Maas ships that I've fallen in love with. But mostly Sarah J. Maas has won those awards. Even though I've never done these awards before, by the way. It's all been in my head. But this year, the Ship of the Year goes to Even Rourke from In Debt series by J.D. Robb or Nora Roberts. I've been reading the In Debt series for a few years, and I just really love it whenever a new book comes out in this series. And I love the mundaneness of Even Rourke because it just shows a relationship that's gonna last the test of time, and I love that. It's the simplicity in that relationship. There is obviously so much going on in the books, and so much happened early on in their relationship, but they've reached a point where it's a stable, good relationship, and I love that. The next category is one of the big ones. It's Contemporary of the Year. And there were a lot of great nominees, but the award goes to Happy Place by Emily Henry, which is, without a doubt, a second chance romance. And it's about this couple who broke up but never told their friends, and now they're on a trip with their friends and they can't tell their friends they broke up. So they have to fake being in a relationship with each other so their friends don't find out while they're on this little trip. And they just have to be in a close proximity of each other. Another great trope. But it is a wonderful series with wonderful characters, and I freaking love the two protagonists together, and just seeing them work through their own issues and their issues together and work towards their future together was great. The next category of the night is Fantasy of the Year, and normally there are a lot of nominees. This year, I barely think there was any competition for this award because I barely read any fantasies. But the award would have gone to this book that I'm going to talk about next because it is A Curse of True Love. And it is the third and final book in Once Upon a Broken Heart series. And it is a wonderful series. I absolutely loved the second book. I was so crazy about the second book. It would have been probably my favorite book of 2022. And I'm super excited about this book. And I know it came out in 2020, like early 2023, like September, but I didn't get to it till December. And I am so glad I read it. It was a wonderful book. It just had one thing that was lacking, and that was more Jax. I think this book, I gave this book a 4 stars for a few reasons, but one of the things that would have tipped it over for me to a 5 would have been if there was more Jax in this book. And this is not to say there wasn't Jax or anything like that. I'm not spoiling y'all. I just could never have enough Jax in a book. He's just amazing. Okay, so the next category is the most surprising book of the year. Now, you can take this any way you want. It could be a book you weren't expecting much from, and it just blew you away. Or it could be a book that you were expecting to blow you away, but didn't. And well, this award goes to The Atlas Paradox. I absolutely love The Atlas 6, which is about a group of 6 people who are recruited by a secret society to become part of that society. And they have to do a few things, train and blah, 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 to get their role, position in the society. And this is the sequel to that. And it was great. It wasn't a bad book, but it was underwhelming. And I was so excited. It was one of my most anticipated reads of the year. But I was disappointed. So that's why it's the most surprising book of the year. I will say the third book just came out last week or 2 weeks ago or something like that. And I'm excited to read it. And I will read it once I have finished what I'm reading now. And that's going to take a while because I'm doing an entire mass readathon. So I'm reading everything she has ever written. And I'm currently in the ACOTAR series. I finished Throne of Glass. I'm on ACOMAF. And then once I do that, I'll do Crescent City. And then there is House of Flame and Shadows, which is going to be so exciting and so amazing. And I'm just beyond happy about that. Next category is Debut of the Year. And this isn't a category I normally think about, but I thought this is something I should definitely feature because there are some amazing debut books out there. And this year, my first book of the year was The Ex-Hex, which is a debut book. I checked. I loved it so freaking much. I am absolutely dying to read the next book that's coming out this year. I read both of the books that are out, and I'm dying to read the next one. And yeah, The Ex-Hex is a fantastic series, and it was an amazing debut for Erin Sterling. The next category is kind of a sad one. It's the most disappointing book of the year. And this book is Reputation. I saw it on TikTok and everyone was going crazy saying, oh my god, this is such a great book for Swifties. And it felt like fan fiction about Taylor Swift, and I don't like that. I don't want to read fan fiction about real people. Fan fictions are fictional characters only for me. I can't read those Harry Styles fan fictions or things like that. So this is what that felt like. So I couldn't separate that from the book. And I think I gave it a 1.5 stars, and I thought that was being generous. But I don't want to say anything else about it. It is about this big pop star who gets bashed in the media for dating a lot, and then she fake dates her brother's best friend who she used to have a crush on. I just could not stand the male protagonist. It felt very toxic. I didn't like it. I just couldn't get into it. Anyway, moving on to something more positive, Protagonist of the Year. For this one, the award goes to Jax, because I obviously mentioned I freaking love Jax. I loved him in Caraval. I loved him in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. And hopefully we'll see him cameo in any other books that Stephanie Garber writes, because, you know, you never know if she writes something else in this world, because this world is fantastic. Maybe she'll go back to the Caraval. I mean, she is doing spectacular. Maybe he'll feature there for like a minuscule second, because Jax is amazing and I would love to see him in Evangeline again. And it would be amazing to just see him. The next category is Author of the Year. That goes to Juliet Cross. At the start of the year, somewhere around the start of the year, I started reading this series called Stay a Spell, I think. And it's a witchy contemporary romance. I know it's a paranormal romance, but it feels contemporary to me. There's witches, vampires, and everything under the moon, so I guess it's a paranormal romance. Anyway, but it's a series of interconnected books, and I read 6 of her books this year, so she had to get Author of the Year for that alone, because she entertained me enough for me to read her entire series. None of these books, I would say, are God tier, but they were all good books and really fun, spicy romances. I just had to keep going. Okay, now, an award that I hold very close to my heart, because no matter how many times we say never judge a book by its cover, we always judge a book by its cover. So for the cover of the year, I have A Curse of True Love, because not only did Stephanie Garber give us this amazing cover, which this is the Barnes & Noble version, there's another version of this cover. She also gave us this amazing cover, which is such a freaking beautiful cover. It's the same book, so that's why I'm giving this one book the award. But that doesn't end there, because she gave us this cover underneath. Her naked covers are the reason I have an addiction to her books. I love her books, but those covers, they just keep me buying these books before I've even read them. Because who the hell can pass up on such gorgeous foiling? So the next category, now that we've moved on from the beautiful covers you just saw, is Series of the Year. For Series of the Year, I did struggle with this category because I thought a couple of series could have won this. And all of these, surprisingly, were paranormal witchy romances. But at the end, Ex-Hex won this award because I just thought those 2 books were amazing. Definitely some of my best reads of the year and my first 2 reads of the year. I'm really excited about the next book, like I mentioned. And yeah, this just had to get that award. Now, the greatest award of the night. And the final award of the night, Book of the Year. I did read a lot less than I normally do, so the competition wasn't as steep. But there were a lot of good contenders. That final award goes to The Happy Place. As I've already talked about this book, I won't bore you with much more, but it was a great read. I would definitely recommend it. I would recommend anything by Emily Henry, and I'm so excited for Funny Story coming in 2024. But that is it for my little bookish awards for 2023 and a little wrap-up of 2023. I haven't done a wrap-up for a year in a while because of my awful filming habits. But yeah, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!